The GameTime Podcast is sponsored by Matt Gaddis at State Farm. Whether it's your car, home, or renter's insurance, Mac's got you covered with fast, reliable service and a personal touch that you can trust. His info is on screen right now, so reach out today and see why so many people rely on Matt Gaddis. Big thanks to Mac for supporting the GameTime Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of GameTime After Hours. It is 2:26 a.m. and we are going to talk some NBA basketball. Of course, that is what this show is all about. So, of course, we're going to talk some NBA basketball. I have been able to catch up on a couple games and whatnot, but we are mainly just going to take a look at the standings today. That is what we are going to hit. I don't want to make this video too long. We'll probably make this about 10 minutes or so. But we are kicking off looking at the East, right? You've got the Pistons, the Raptors, the Knicks, and the Cavs and the Heat all in the top five. I would continue to watch the Eastern Conference. I think, I like what Toronto's doing overall. I think they've played very strong in the last couple of games. I mean, they're on a 5-game win streak. Credit to the Pistons. They're on an 11-game win streak. Pistons look really dangerous. And the last time I updated this tier list, I had the Pistons in tier 1 right behind the New York Knicks. And I think right now, I'm not going to move them above New York quite yet, but I am going to keep them in that tier 1 right behind New York because I think Detroit looks really strong. Cade Cunningham, I mean, they're even winning games without Cade. So credit to Cade Cunningham and the performance he's putting on for sure. The Chicago Bulls, like I kind of said, they're in their form now. I think they'll continue to trend the way they're trending at this point in time. I think they'll float around 500, maybe a little bit above, just because the East is a bit weaker. I said a beat. I'm not going to speak too much on the LaMelo trade rumors. I'm interested to see what Daryl thinks of those tomorrow when we record. All I'm going to say is hopefully he goes to the Clippers. If you're an NBA fan, you know why you would want him to go to the Clippers because we can't let the Thunder get that high of a pick in the draft. Just looking more around, I'm very disappointed still with the Orlando Magic. They've probably been the team I'm most disappointed in. The Bucks, I think if Giannis hasn't been hurt these last couple of games, I think their record is a little bit different. So I'm not too worried about the Milwaukee Bucks at this current moment in time. Who else? Sixers. I've had some people tell me the Sixers look pretty scary, and I don't disagree. I'm curious to see how Edgecombe and Maxey continue to work out. I think their biggest thing is, are they going to trade Embiid? Because I think if they want to succeed in the playoffs, getting rid of Embiid is going to be their primary number one. Because when these teams set up their actions, and I mean they're going to attack Embiid, and I mean they're going to use him in the primary action to make sure he's the guy that they go after. So if I'm Philadelphia, you got to get rid of Joel Embiid, or I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams are just going to go after Embiid in the playoffs. They may not do it right now, but I specifically remember Alex Sarr giving Joel Embiid about 30 points a couple weeks ago. I want to look also at the West because obviously I made the cover of the video, the Los Angeles Lakers, and LeBron came back. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up those highlights because that is definitely something that I wanted to talk about. I believe they took on the Jazz. Yes, they did. I think for the Lakers, this was a game that a lot of people were excited to see, just for the simple fact that everyone said, "Oh, Austin Reeves is going to regress, or not regress, but he's not going to be able to play how he's been playing the last couple of nights," and that's kind of the big thing that everyone was whining about. And I had somebody mad at me. Scott Nichols, he's the sponsor for Crossroads, and he was like, my take was horrible. It was something about LeBron playing his role, and LeBron literally played his role. He literally is 1990s Magic Johnson, and I think it's great that this is the role that he is in, and I think people need to calm down because LeBron played exactly how I thought he was going to play in his first game back. And I think this is the role he should have on this Lakers team. Before I was rudely interrupted by the ad, it's going to show, I'm just going to let this run real quick. Just obviously start off with a nice bucket. But I think the big thing for me, right, and why I think LeBron will continue to play in this role, he doesn't have to be, and I've said this multiple times on Game Time Live, people, especially Scott Nichols, right, he can say that was the worst take, but you're also watching a 1-minute clip. Maybe watch the full show and actually hear my real analysis about what I said. Because if you actually listen to it, he did the thing that I actually wanted him to do. He's going to put up more than 13 points or whatever he had in this game against Utah. That is not the problem. The problem in itself is there is no problem. He's playing his role as a 41-year-old. Yes, he should probably not have to take a brunt of the offensive load. I think what Scott said as a rebuttal to what I said is a great thing. Have him play off ball. If he gets a matchup that he prefers, let him go to work. But other than that, this is the man that needs to be doing a brunt of the work. Luka, Ayton, and Austin Reeves. Those are the guys that need to be the funnel of this offense as the season continues to go on. And when we need a Bron spurt or moments of Bron, I think that's what will happen. LeBron will step in and he'll be a key contributor for this team as well. I'm not saying he's a role player, but as a 41-year-old man, you probably want to not be the main guy on the offensive side of the ball when you really don't have to be, when you've got 3 other options on the roster that are younger than you and a little more athletic than you at this point. Not saying Luka's that more athletic than LeBron, but you get my gist. He's a 41-year-old man. So I think personally, LeBron's going to play in this continuation of what he did against the Utah Jazz. I think you'll continue to see him get more than 10 assists per night in this role, because I think this is the perfect role to have him on. There should not be a moment, and this goes for JJ Redick, when you have all the team healthy, that either LeBron or Luka is not on the floor. Hell, there's even times where you could have both of them off the floor and you have Austin Reeves, or you're running Reeves and Bron, Reeves and Luka, and then Ayton is obviously mixed into that. I mean, there's moments in this game where you could run Reeves Ayton, Bron Ayton, Luka Reeves, Reeves Ayton, Reeves Bron. There's so many, two-man tandems that you can have, and that's another guy that should probably get the ball more. Jake LaRavia has been a great free agency addition for the Lakers as well. Long, lanky forward. I think he's done a good job on the. He's literally a 3-and-D guy. Perfect. LaRavia was a beautiful pickup for the Los Angeles Lakers, and I will continue to praise the signing of LaRavia. Vincent, Jesus, I couldn't get that out. They got to trade Gabe Vincent. That's my one critique. I think Jared Vanderbilt, I need to go and look at the minutes for that Jazz game, but I don't think he even played that much in the game against Utah. So that kind of takes away some of my woes about the team at the early start of the year. It was Vincent and Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt. There we go. But I like what the Lakers have looked like so far. The OKC game, definitely I knew what the result was going to be. Thought we would have played a little bit better offensively, but it's the Thunder. What are you going to do? And speaking of the Thunder, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the standings because, well, actually, I'm not going to pull up the standings. I'm going to pull up Tankathon because that is where everybody's eyes are starting to move towards, because I think Bill Simmons said it. Somebody said it. We're at a crisis right now, and the crisis is this. This is the crisis. I'm going to pull it up on screen for you lovely people. Look at this crisis that is developing in the draft lottery. Look at this. The Thunder have 2 picks. 2 of them in the top 10. And the Clippers, I hate to break it to everybody, are still losing games. I hope they get LaMelo Ball. I hope they trade Kawhi. I hope they trade everything they can to get LaMelo Ball on the Clippers, because he will lead them towards wins. Enough wins to where that team is not all the way down, or is not all the way not at the bottom of the Western Conference and at the top of the lottery, because you don't own your own pick. Now, I think Danny Ainge will work some magic, and I think Danny Ainge will get his pick. Back, because AJ DeBonce is in this draft. He plays at BYU. He was literally just at the game, or the first game of the year for BYU. Call me crazy. I think Danny Ainge and Sam Presti are 2 of the best GMs in the league. I think there is a real chance that Danny Ainge will get his pick back from Sam Presti. Those 2 are masterminds. They will work out some. I don't even want to know what they work out. This pick swap and this pick swap and this pick is better than this pick, so we have the right to swap if this pick is worth. They'll scheme up something so devious that I couldn't probably even process it. So we'll see what happens there. I hope Indiana continues to lose. I hope Washington continues to lose. Two teams. I mean, I really like Washington. Koulibaly, Carrington, Sarr, those three guys right there. I'm very excited to watch them progress as the future goes on with them. Brooklyn, absolute just crapshoot. No one cares about Brooklyn. Same thing about Sacramento. We'll be watching the games tomorrow night. Expect more of these. I took a little bit of a break. I've been so busy with some other stuff, broadcasting for IU East. Not only that, I'm working on some other stuff with a couple of the radio stations as well. So I'm working on some stuff, but I'm still working on this podcast as well. We've actually got a lot of announcements that we've been working on for the podcast, and we've also been trying to get interviews for these next couple of weeks. So not trying to make excuses. These episodes did really well at the start, and it's on me for not continuing them the last couple of weeks. But it also helps that I haven't really been watching as much NBA as I should have for these recaps. So we're going to get back to watching a lot of basketball these next couple of weeks and expect more videos as well. I appreciate all the love and support on these. Didn't want to make it too long. I just wanted to get this out here for you guys so you guys could hear my thoughts on the NBA. Not going to show you the tier list because we will be live tomorrow for Game Time Live on Friday. That is a lot. That is really where we talk a lot more about the NBA. So I'm excited to talk about the NBA with Daryl. Please tune in to that. It should be good. But for that, folks, that is going to do it. Not too long of a video. That is going to do it for me, folks. You've been watching Game Time After Hours.